Good morning, this is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. I hope you had a nice Easter break and I had the opportunity of having some time off work and hopefully spending it with your families and you're still safe. Today I'm going to be talking about the COVID passports and how I view it as potentially more discrimination for undocumented migrants and the pressing need for real amnesty. As anyone that's watched the news will know, the government is floating the idea of introducing COVID passports so that people have to show them before they enter a big shop or they enter a restaurant. On the face of it, and it enjoys some public support, it seems like a very sensible idea. But, and there is a very big but, in reality it could be seen as further adding to the problems of the million or so undocumented migrants in the United Kingdom. The reason for this is that it will add an extra layer, or could add an extra layer, to the already hostile environment that the government continues with. For those not familiar with the hostile environment and how it actually works, it was designed to encourage people without leave to return home. It has failed. The figures show that the figures of voluntary departures has dropped by almost half over the last few years. So it's plainly a policy that should be abandoned or revisited. COVID passports, or the inability of those who do not have status or are too scared of the government, it is just going to add another layer of pain if people just can't get hold of a COVID passport. I say this because the hostile environment has been widely criticised as it causes real pain and suffering to a great many families, despite its failure to reduce migration or encourage voluntary departure. At present, those subject to the hostile environment cannot work, they cannot legally rent, drive, and they're at risk of detention and or being prosecuted and removed from the United Kingdom. If the current COVID passports are going to be electronically stored and created, this could cause real problems for the undocumented, as they would have to provide their personal information and details to a government department. While this might not seem like a problem, there's a danger that the information could be leaked to the Home Office. Recently it was uncovered that some councils and charities were sharing information on homeless migrants to the government, and the government has secretly introduced its policy of trying to remove homeless migrants. So it follows that the introduction of COVID passports could actually be adding another harmful layer to the hostile environment, because not only will people not be able to work or rent legally, but they simply won't even be able to go to shops or eat in restaurants because they won't have the relevant documentation. So whilst in theory this is a good idea, unless it's operated very liberally, it's going to cause real problems for, again, the most vulnerable people in society, which will also discourage them from being vaccinated and possibly, and there are already problems in that area, and then thus lead to the pandemic continuing. But this is a sensitive issue, and whilst the government is trailing it through the news as it might be an idea, I would urge anyone that thinks it is a fantastic idea to have regard to the most vulnerable in society. As I've said before, what we really need to do is have some sort of general amnesty and then introduce some proper immigration rules and enforce them properly and humanely. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.